You want to know why the child support scheme in Australia is so messed up? Well, the short answer is that we have dumb politicians, dodgy public servants, and clueless academics. Let's take a high-level look at the report from the Family Law Inquiry. I want to explain how a golden opportunity to fix the child support scheme has been wasted. The Joint Committee has decided that Australia should persist with the current child support formula. Senator Pauline Hanson, who was Deputy Chair of the committee, has issued a dissenting report against her colleagues. She disagrees with many of the recommendations in the report.
What I find is that the other members on the board with me, or the committee with me, are useless. Absolutely useless. Child support is the guts of the whole matter. You clean up child support, you will deal with the other issues. I know that parents are gaming the system, keeping their kids from the other parent purely for the child support. I know that people are throwing in their jobs, walking away from it because of child support.
In her dissenting report, Senator Hanson wrote, "The child support formula in its current form can be a windfall for ex-partners or a total loss of financial support.
Why don't you try it out? Loser.
A key question we need to ask ourselves is, does the current child support scheme work well or not? Are the committee justified in not recommending an overhaul of the formula? Or is Senator Hanson's assessment correct that the formula is not working properly? I believe the formula is failing children and parents in two main ways. One issue is that the formula promotes single parenting. Parents who dominate care can put themselves in a stronger position financially. Of course, that is bad news for kids, both economically and in terms of not being raised by two parents. The second major way that the formula hurts kids is by causing parents to reduce their reported incomes. The current formula is highly progressive, meaning it significantly penalises parents for making money. By reducing one's income, a payer can get away with paying less child support. If a payee reduces their income, the amount they receive goes up. The impact of child support on work is something we can assess quite well using income stats. The median income of child support payers is $50,828 per year. Median income is the taxable income of the typical person who is halfway along the income distribution. For receivers of child support, the median income is even worse at $29,273. These figures are low. In fact, we estimate that the typical kid involved in the child support system is around $19,000 worse off than they should be in terms of combined parental income. Median incomes are about 18% lower than for the Australian workforce as a whole. And remember, most parents involved with child support are in the prime of their working lives. And apart from custodial parents with very young children, most have the ability to work full-time. The low incomes of parents point to a problem with child support. The scheme seems to be causing parents to have lower reported earnings. We see the problem even more when we look at stats on child support payments. The median child support income is just $65 per week, and 30% of cases involve amounts of less than $500 per year. Senator Hanson's claim about the formula causing a loss of support certainly seems to ring true. A significant percentage of kids are hit by the double whammy of low parental incomes and small amounts of child support being received. Now here's where things start to get really weird. The Department of Social Services is the biggest supporter of the formula. They often go into bat to defend the system and formula. And yet, here is them proudly presenting the same income and payment stats to the inquiry.
And the median adjusted taxable income at March 2021 for payers was $50,828, and for payees was $29,273. We, in our submission, noted a little bit on the distribution of child support payable, and the percentages and facts in there remain broadly consistent. So as at the end of March 2021, In around 30% of cases decided under the formula, the amount payable is $500 or less. And in 61% of cases, it's under $5,000 per annum. An additional bit of context is that the median child support payable under the formula is $3,354 per annum. So that's about $65 a week.
What is going on here? Why would the DSS be keen to reveal the poor performance of their child support formula? What's even worse is that the committee used the same stats when justifying why they want to keep the formula. Here's what they said in their report. The committee would like to note, however, that although numerous issues with the CSS child support scheme were raised, especially around the assessment formula and amounts payable, evidence provided indicated that less than 40% of cases involved payments of $5,000 per annum or more, and that approximately 30% of cases had amounts payable of $500 or less. Importantly, the committee was also advised that the median child support payable under the formula was only $3,350 per annum, or approximately $65 per week. What the hell is going on here? The committee didn't explain their logic. I can only guess that what they're saying is that the formula is mild. Because payment amounts are often low, they believe that you cannot argue for changing the formula to make it less harsh on payers. We know that the committee is wrong if this was their reasoning. The formula is not mild. That's just a mathematical fact. By design, the formula requires the paying parent to continue spending on their child as if the parents were living together as a family, supporting each other. The committee hasn't done much critical thinking here, it would seem. For one, the stats they're relying so heavily on are only partial. By definition, the stats only cover the middle to bottom end of the income distribution. What about the hardworking parents who are paying truckloads of child support and not seeing their kids? Don't they count as well? Crucially, the committee also seems to be discounting the possibility that low payments occur because parents dodge child support. Maybe the committee got sucked in by the words of academic Bruce Smith, who told them that gaming wasn't happening much since, based on a survey, most parents don't understand the formula very well. Well, Professor Smith, you don't have to learn the formula to game the system. And I'd suggest you do some research on the Laffer curve before making any more contributions in this area. The Laffer curve illustrates how, beyond a certain point, taxing people becomes counterproductive. Push people too hard and they stop complying. Here are 10 quotes from parents who would probably disagree with Professor Smith and the Family Law Committee. You can see a longer list of similar quotes from 100 parents in the comments section of the video. All these are taken from questions in the Q&A forum at childsupportaustralia.com. We could give you hundreds more and thousands, I'm sure, if we asked around. 1. He told me that he's going to do cash work in hand so he doesn't have to pay child support, and this is exactly what he has done for the past 3 years. 2. He earns less than unemployed people for most of the 9 years, which meant no child support, yet he was having extravagant overseas cruises and holidays and bought a yacht. 3. She has numerous companies and several bank accounts with different names, and is also hiding money in her family trust. 4. She is also working for her new husband from home, as well as breeding/selling dogs for cash on the side. 5. The parent in question is a lawyer and has reduced the hours to earn between $80,000 and $100,000 a year less. 6. How is it possible he earns no income? He is a qualified lawyer and speaks 7 languages. 7. My ex is extremely wealthy, has multiple million-dollar properties he owns and has negatively geared, is the partner of his family-run law firm, and has minimised his income each and every year. 8. He has a law and accounting degree but works for his family and claims and lodges with the ATO. He is earning minimum wage. He has recently lodged his 18-19 taxable income as 0. 9. Because he gets cash in hand, he says I can't prove it, which I guess realistically I can't. 10. She rang the ATO and the CSA with this information only to be told, well, there's not much we can do if the business owner does not admit this guy is working there and for cash. Oh my God, what a joke. This may be all anecdotal evidence, but there's a ton of it. And what the parents are saying is fully supported by the income statistics. Parents who are subject to the child support formula are actively reducing their incomes. They are doing this in large numbers, and their actions can be linked to the progressive, i.e. income penalising nature of the formula. The formula we proposed wouldn't have this effect nearly as much. We proposed a formula where A, the costs of the children are realistic, and B, payments don't depend on the receiver's income at all. So, what have the Family Law Inquiry Committee done here? They've used stats presented in a nudge-nudge, wink-wink manner from the DSS to conclude that the current formula is fine. Sadly, for kids and parents in Australia, the committee has failed to reach the only logical conclusion here, and that is that there are chronic problems with the formula and scheme, problems that the committee clearly should have addressed as part of their core business.